Purposely. Your life, God's purpose. Listen at onpurposely.com.
Have you ever wished you could know what the future held before you got there? What if you were given the gift of knowledge before you even began your journey? Now, I've been thinking about that because I made a lot of stupid mistakes when I was younger. And I wish I had someone to say, don't go down that road, go down this one. I'm Sherry, and welcome to From the Eyes of Wisdom, where we are pairing an experienced elder from Christa Senior Living with a passionate King's High School student ready to launch into the world. And while these conversations won't tell the future exactly, they did reveal a lot we weren't expecting about how to live life well. Are you ready? I can't wait for you to hear this. All right, time for another episode of From the Eyes of Wisdom. So glad to be here with you guys. And today we have Dawn with us. Thank you, Dawn, for joining us.
I'm glad to be here.
And Esther is here with us. Thank you, Esther.
My pleasure.
All right, so we're just going to get some wisdom from Dawn, get some questions from Esther, kind of get where you want to go in life and where Dawn has been in life, and we'll kind of intersect those two together.
Okay.
Esther, you want to be a doctor.
Yes, that's correct.
What made you want to be a doctor?
My family history with various medical conditions, and also like volunteering around those kind of areas. So,
okay.
Yeah.
What kind of volunteer work have you done?
I have volunteered at senior centers and food banks where I've like specifically served seniors.
Okay, and you felt like, hey, I think I'd like to serve a little more in the medical field.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, do you have a specific area that you want to study in?
Yeah, I would love to specialize either in pediatrics or cardiology.
All right, Dawn, you did medicine for how long?
About 45 years, I think.
45
Yeah.
years. Okay, so Dawn has a little experience in the medical field. Okay, so tell me how you got started. Did you always want to be a doctor?
No,
Okay.
no. I had no idea what I wanted to do when I went to college.
Okay.
I was wide open.
Okay.
And my family wanted me to get a scholarship
Okay.
because we had 3 kids going through at the same time.
Wow.
And so I got something that gave me complete tuition,
Okay.
payment for everything. And then I had to be in the service. I was going to be an officer for 3 years of active duty afterwards.
Okay.
So I think that has some effect on my sense of I need to make a decision and gear toward it right now.
Okay.
I was on my own and enjoying the service, learning a lot, being given responsibility.
Yeah.
And then I began to think about what is the career I want to embark on. I wasn't one of those people that knew long ago because of family members or what they'd seen themselves. And but I thought back on my mom's situation and the high blood pressure and the stroke. And then I began to think about the interaction I had seen her make with the family practitioner we had, Dr. Alan Ross, and how supportive he was, particularly when she was a widow.
Okay.
And how he reassured her and said, we're still worried about your blood pressure, but we're working on this with you.
Yeah.
And I was, and then I had played sports and had some accidents, and Dr. Ross always patched me up.
Yeah, yeah.
So I had a feeling of his persona and his capacity to have empathy toward you. When I had an accident, I cut up my mouth pretty bad running into a baseball player. Ooh. And he said, after I went in, sort of worried about how I'd look, he said, "Can you still kiss the girl?"
Well,
and I had to laugh with him, and I thought to myself, isn't that an extraordinary way to take a young guy who's self-concerned and just say,
it's okay.
You know, things are going to work out.
Yeah. So it was this positive interaction with this doctor when you start thinking about what you want to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so may I ask you, that when you're thinking about family conditions, is there anything specific that you're looking at, medical conditions that make you say, I want to be a doctor?
So my mom has very low blood pressure.
Okay.
So she has like fainted a couple times because of that, and I've had to like call the ambulance and take care of my siblings while she was at the hospital.
Yeah.
So various things like that. So just being in a caretaker position has made me like want to be a caretaker for others. So
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good. All right. So it's sort of like the same thing where you're looking and saying, I see something, I see suffering in my family, and then I see someone who, in your position, saying, I see someone who helped during that time, and I want to be that helper. Yeah. I want to be a helper.
Yeah, there's one other thing. My dad said to me when I was 15 or 16, Mom's got very bad high blood pressure.
Yeah.
And I want you to do everything you can to show you care for her and look out for her. We're hoping things will work out, but every day and week is something we're very glad to have. And that made a big impact on me, too.
You know what? That's really important. I think that's important for teenagers to hear. Yeah. Every day matters. You know what I mean?
That's right. Yeah.
Every day matters.
They don't have an end shot.
No.
It's all open. Yeah.
Yeah. When you're young, you're thinking the world is just open out there, right? Like it's just forever, right? Yeah. But thank God he did that because you did end up losing your mom at a young age.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I remember something in your pre-interview about were you a health aide, or were you in a Was there a hospital? And was it Philly or something?
Yeah.
Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah. After I got out of the Navy, I had decided to try to get into medical school. And I was an average college student. I did everything but study hard. And I really enjoyed it. And
you enjoyed everything but studying.
And I wasn't a pre-med, you see.
Okay, right.
And the kids in my class that were pre-med, you never saw them
because they were studying.
They were studying, and they were competitive, and they wanted to get the MSAT, ChemCast, and bang.
That's where Esther's going.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm about to go through that.
And I could understand that, and I knew some of them very well and was friends with them, but I thought they missed out in a way.
Yeah.
They didn't have other things they enjoyed doing.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I got out, and my brother, who was studying architecture, said, "Why don't you come roommate with me at the University of Pennsylvania?" Okay. I had never been there. And so I went and roomed with him. But I started taking my pre-med courses. I'd taken a year of physics, but nothing else.
Okay.
And I took all my pre-med courses in 1 year. I had 60 credits in 1 year. But I was unsure. I didn't know a lot about medicine. So I worked as a volunteer health aide in the hospital.
Yeah.
And I worked under the senior nursing person. And I worked a shift from 1 in the afternoon to 11 at night.
Woo!
5 days a week. And I did everything. I did the preoperative preps, shaving. I did enemas. I helped the nurses move inoperable patients and non-mobile patients.
Now, this is interesting to me. When I was listening to your pre-interview, what was interesting to me was you're really coming into this. You're not coming into this like Esther, who is like, this is what I want to do, and having that you have had no experience in any of this.
So I want to get the experience.
Yeah.
And so my motivation for doing that was I want to see how I deal with sick people.
Yeah.
And
what'd you learn?
Well, they share things with me that they weren't saying to the doctor or the nurses. I was at the bottom of the totem pole. I was just an aide, and I was helping them get dressed or whatever.
What did you take from that experience and say, this is how I'm going to be a doctor?
Yeah. Well, I learned to use a lot of non-visual clues.
Non-visual clues.
I'd look at their expressions, their posture. They might be putting on a little bravado, particularly the men. But I would look for that, and then I'd try to reassure them, and then I'd say, what are some of your concerns? And then the other thing is I would really wait. And one of the problems in a clinician situation, you have a lot of patients to see, and you're using your time as effectively as you can. And for you to slow down and step back and say, there's something going on here that I don't understand, and just step back and say,
that's important for you to know. Yeah.
What else could concern you about what we've been doing? I'd like to hear your opinion about this. So I was always interested in kind of a team collateral approach. And it takes more time, but you can step away from the routine stuff and say anything else that you haven't expressed to people or you're worried about.
That is interesting. And I think that's something good for you to know, Esther, is to say, okay, all of this stuff that's happening when I'm not a doctor can still inform, if I'm hearing you correctly, Dawn, can inform the way I perform this profession when I become a doctor. I can take all of this information and I can use it as a way to be a doctor, right? Because you wouldn't have known to ask those questions or to slow down or any of that if you hadn't had that job.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
I think what I would sum that up as saying is that I had developed a sense of empathy.
Yeah, there's the word,
I could put myself in their shoes because I had heard people talking about what it's like to be in these shoes.
Yeah. So let's get to you meeting your wife. Tell me where you met her and how the two of you...
Well, I had always looked for a place of worship.
Okay.
In college, in the service. And when I was doing my pre-med and so on, my brother and I both founded a church.
Okay.
I like to sing.
Okay.
And this church had a very good choir.
All right.
So I got into that. And I went, they had a once-a-month graduate student dinner.
Okay.
And I was a bachelor looking for food that someone else had prepared.
All right.
So my brother and I always showed up.
Okay.
And one evening we get there a little late, and there's one seat next to this table of 7 or 8 people. And this young lady, I asked, is this seat taken? And she said, no, you're welcome to it. That was my future wife.
So I'm going to fast forward a little bit to the two of you together. And let's say when did you start thinking, okay, doctor, and then also medical missions? When did your mind start thinking like that? Was that because that was during when you were still in college, right?
No, that was really when I was in medical school.
When you were in medical school, yes. You started thinking medical missions.
And it was also after I was married to Sheila.
Right, that I knew, yes.
Yeah, because you had to match things up with your partner.
Right.
This is not a one-person show.
Right.
And it turned out that her mother, Vi McLean, had been a missionary to the Yukon as a young woman.
Wow, okay.
And I had met Mrs. McLean, and of course she was my mother-in-law.
Yeah.
And I really liked her a lot. And we used to ask some stories about what was that like.
Okay.
And then I'd always been interested in other countries, other people, other lifestyles.
Yeah.
I was training in internal medicine. I'd been in Boston for 2 years.
Okay.
And then I came out here to UW.
Okay.
And I finished that and had done something in a specialty called infectious disease because I'd always been interested in exotic infections.
Okay.
You know, this is a gradual process, at least for me.
Yeah.
And I had some light on my pathway, but it was just a footstep ahead of me. And then I thought, Sheila was a Canadian, and I said, I've been asked if I'd like to do a medical internship in a British hospital midway through medical school. And would you enjoy that? Because that's her mother country.
Yeah, right.
So she said, oh, that'd be fun. And she had never traveled.
Okay.
So we went over, and some of the patients I saw in a London hospital were from overseas, and I got talking with them. And
did you feel a call for that?
Yeah, definitely. I might not have called it a call at that time.
At the time, yeah.
I might have felt a little nudge.
Okay.
Or God presents himself to match you.
Yeah, right.
And he matches me by saying,
God presents himself to match you. You should write that.
Yeah, I should.
Yeah.
Sheila, it was a harder decision in some sense because she was going for a PhD.
Okay.
But God had also blessed us with a little girl my 4th year in medical school.
Okay.
So that kept her pretty busy for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this is how it worked out. We felt stronger and stronger about this. And then I came out to UW to take my final internal medicine residency.
Okay.
And I'd been talking to Sheila about this, and she said, Don, you know, we've been having many blessings. And it's time to share some of our blessings. Pass it over, pass it on.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, I'll go talk to the dean here at UW. So I went up and talked to him, and I said, you know, our plan is unclear, but do you have any people asking for physicians to come and serve in underdeveloped countries? And I'm kind of interested in Africa as among other options.
Yeah.
And so he said, I don't have anything right now. And they're really interested in surgeons. You know, you come in and you do something right away.
Right.
Internists, they probably have some people that can do that sort of thing. And I said, well, keep in touch. I gave him my number and so on. 4 hours later, I got a telephone call. And this voice says, my name is Dennis Carlson. I am a medical school grad from UW. And I've been a missionary in Ethiopia.
Oh, wow.
And based on my first 5 years of what I was dealing with, I got more and more interested in public health. So I came back and did a master's in public health. And now I'm back in Ethiopia, and I'm the dean of the public health college here. And I'm recruiting for an internist.
Oh, my goodness. Well, there's that.
And I said, well, I think that we would like to meet with you, have a cup of coffee. And then he said 2 things that interested me. He said, we're here to share our training and experience with Ethiopian doctors who have been trained but haven't had perhaps as much training as we have. But we're interested in replacing all the expatriates on our faculty within 4 years. We want Ethiopians to take over and be the in total faculty. And so I right away had my attention on that. That this is
that was
not
something you were interested in.
In terms of sustainability, but also his vision. I want to get the Ethiopians to run this place themselves, but we knew we had had more opportunities.
Okay.
So we signed up for that. But before I agreed, I said, no, my wife has been doing a PhD in history. And Dennis looked at Sheila and he said, now, Sheila, you must like books. History, you do a lot of reading, don't you? And she said, absolutely. And he said, we're looking for a librarian.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And she said, oh. And he said, now, we don't need Don for 1 year. This guy, we have a guy doing the internal medicine for the next year, but then I'd like to get him. You could start a master's in librarianship here at UW right now. And you'd learn enough in a year to be able to run our program. And then he baited the hook, and he said, I've gone to USAID, and they've granted us $50,000 to rebook our whole library at the public health college. And you'd be in charge of ordering everything.
And that was it, right?
And she said, that sounds challenging. So anyway, she took it, and we went. And then she came back and finished that.
Wow.
But we were there 3 years. We had 2 little kids when we went. We had a 2-year-old and 4-year-old.
Wow. I love these stories because at your age, you have, I'm sure, a vision of the things that you want to do and the way you want to do them. I'm just kind of thinking through.
Yeah.
And Dawn's story already shows this windy road that God kind of puts us on.
Yeah.
And I wonder if you have any questions or thoughts about that.
Yeah, like hearing about this, it's very like a non-traditional route.
Yeah. And obviously God can do, that's what I hope you get from this. So that in 10 years, 12 years,
Yeah.
you're on a road where you're like, where am I going? What is happening? It seems weird. It's more than I can take. Whatever the case may be, because that will happen in life. I hope that you will remember sitting next to Don, which means God brought him through, and he's fine, right? Like he's here, which means God is faithful because you're here, right? And to remember I think that's part of us always recalling God's faithfulness. That's why I like this. Yeah. Is that a person who has experienced God's faithfulness can say to someone who is starting out on the road, I'm telling you God is faithful because I've experienced God's faithfulness, right? Yeah. Like you could say it. You could say it because you've lived it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the other thing, and this is what the elders, they've done more reading too. One of my favorite quotations from a Christian is, God works in you slowly.
Ooh, that's good. I'm going to write that down myself.
You know, because we're impatient people. Our culture's impatient. And we think, I think I'd like that door to open, or I need some support over here. I'm not sure how this is going to happen. And then we realize when we look back, he was already on that.
Yeah.
He's always been on that.
He was, right?
Yeah.
And he's not on our time schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I valued, you know, when you work in different countries, you're trying to learn from them. You listen to their folk stories. You look at their life circumstances. And you're learning all the time. And the big thing, and we were in a very rural area, and there were a lot of sheep out there. And I was struck that little boys were sent out to take care of the sheep when they were 7 or 8 years old. These are scrawny little kids with raggedy clothes, and that's their job. And they're in big trouble if they don't know if a sheep's missing, if they don't know what happened to it. So I got very interested in some of the Bible stories and so on. And the one that is, I am the good shepherd. That's when you're in these places, you start to look at that, and it realizes he's always there looking after his sheep like these little kids are.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
And what do I take away from that? He's doing that for us, too. You do something, a little hesitant step, and your cup overflows. And it has had a profound...
Wait a minute. Me and Esther's writing that down. A hesitant step, your cup overflows. Esther, you writing that down?
Yep.
Dawn, she's already written down so much, so have I. But I always ask our elders, if you had one piece of advice, one thing that Esther is going to need, undergrad, med school, residency, maybe she'll decide medical missions. I'm not going to push that on you. I'm just going to tell you, have yourself open, because that's what it sounded like Dawn had. Have yourself open. If there's one thing, she's going to have this card with her all the time, right? She's taking that card with her. She's going to be 28 and have that card with her. If there's one thing that you're like, this is what you need to know, what would it be?
Yeah. Ask God to guide you.
Ask God to guide you.
Because you're going to be in lots of situations. And be patient. Because there's it may not come to you as a word. My wife right now is having major health problems. But one of the senses I've had, not a verbal word from God, but I was sharing with him that I was saddened about her decline.
Yeah.
But I was grateful for 64 years being married to a wonderful woman.
Yeah.
And these children and all our blessings.
Yeah.
And I had the sense, and I can't really say it was anything more, he'd already picked Sheila up. And that's a little bit of that good shepherd image. He'd already picked up this little sheep. And I was walking with her when I'd done what I could, but I was not going to change the circumstance. And so we're just all walking along together, but he's doing most of the carrying.
Yeah, because he's the good shepherd.
Yeah. I guess the only other thing is, and I'm not real good at this myself, is a really wonderful spiritual practice is the practice of silence. And the more you can learn about It's also solitude, being comfortable with being alone.
Wow.
Even in a crowded room, you can be completely in solitude. But the silence is, your mind is churning over and you got stuff coming at you all the time. It's just trying to relax, breathe slowly, and find a place and a time. And it's a hard discipline. Mm-hmm. It is a hard discipline. Mm-hmm. But I think humility and silence are the two great virtues.
When you talk about practicing silence, and how would you say you posture yourself before God in that moment? Like, are you expecting, or maybe not even expect, like just listening for his voice and just meditating on his word during that time, or like is it just time to like rest and be in peace?
Yeah. Well, there's several different ways of doing that. Yeah. And if you look at, there's good stuff on all our wonderful internet. Mm-hmm. Some of them is that you'll pick certain biblical narratives that appeal to you, and you'll just reflect on that. Some people use a certain phrase, Jesus, Son of God, have mercy on me. Mm. Jesus, Son of God, have mercy on me. So there's sort of a mantra that you're going through. And then you start to release that. And other ones are, you just say, I'm here and you're here. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to relax and I'm going to try to let go. I'm going to try to unplug.
Yeah.
And I'd love you to come in here. But if I don't hear anything or sense anything special, I am still here for you. Mm-hmm. And I know you want me to be here and you'd like to spend time with me, so here I am. Mm. And whatever you want to do in God's slow time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then maybe 2 weeks later, something will happen. You'll say, aha. Yeah. And I like that sort of, it's the shortest prayer is, could you, thank you, in anticipation, and then lowercase or capital letters, wow.
Dawn, thank you so much. And Esther, thank you so much. This has been such a rich episode. And I know as you're listening or watching on YouTube, I'm sure you've gotten so much out of it like we have. Esther, put your card up to the camera. If you're listening, you can't see it, but Esther got the cameras right here. Okay. I think, Esther got like front, back, side. She's written a lot of notes from what Dawn has written. And so have I. I can show mine too. I got notes too. So thank you all so much. And the next episode From the Eyes of Wisdom, we'll get even more wisdom. Thank you guys for joining us.